only tell the truth to you. I can't cheat. Honesty is the best policy if I want you to be with me.
This is the type of imagery that makes you incapable of sleeping at night. My first introduction to the X-Men as a kid was reading the Brood saga, but I didn't read it in order. I started with the Uncanny X-Men 165 at the start of Paul Smith's run, which was near the end of the Brood storyline. That issue featured Storm, a black female superhero with a high moral standard, white hair, and blue eyes. A mutant with the ability to control the weather, she discovers that she is way more powerful in space, manipulating solar winds and gravity. She was immediately relatable to me, her unique appearance mirroring my own. The story, Storm realizing she is the host to a Brood queen, was both shocking and heartbreaking. The cover was hard to look at, but so very well executed by Paul Smith, it was even harder to look away. It was like Empire Strikes Back being the first Star Wars movie you saw. If you're unfamiliar with the Brood is an alien species that looks like the alien from Aliens, except they can fly and they have both endoskeletons and exoskeletons. Frightening. They also, like Alien, use living hosts as an incubator for their kids. But what's worse is the M. Night twist. Like the Borg, they absorb your genetic uniqueness and acquire the abilities of their host. Now imagine the X-Men being chosen as hosts. Nightmares. Super sidebar. Let's backtrack. I went 20 issues deep to X-Men 145. I have to give you a brief recap. Dr. Doom has captured Arcade and his associate, Miss Locke, blackmails the X-Men into rescuing Arcade from Doom's castle located in the Adirondacks. They are defeated by Doom and captured and placed in elaborate traps. A second team of X-Men is tasked with rescuing their kidnapped friends and family at Murder World, where they face freakish tests of their own. I go this far back to illustrate Storm's power level. Storm is trapped by Doom in some type of metallic shell, immobilizing her into a statue and triggering her claustrophobia, which manifests as crazy weather across the entire eastern seaboard. When her fellow X-Men finally free her, Storm is mad with power and requires a therapeutic crisis intervention before she destroys Doom's castle and everyone in it. The next adventure takes the X-Men into conflict with Magneto after a brief sidebar involving Dazzler and Caliban. A great deal more happens before the X-Men face the Brood in outer space. Storm is possessed by Emma Frost. Dave Cockrum takes pencils from Bob McLeod. Cyclops' father, Corsair, shows up with alien assassins, the Seedree on his tail. The alien Shi'ar appear to rescue their queen Lilandra, who is romantically linked to Professor Xavier. Colossus is mortally wounded but rescued by the Starjammers. Then they fight Deathbird, Lilandra's sister, and the Brood. The Shi'ar threaten to blow up the Earth if they don't get their queen back and hold Nightcrawler and Kitty Pryde as collateral. Kitty impersonates Dark Phoenix. The X-Men meet Rogue. Did I mention that Carol Danvers has been hanging out with the X-Men this entire time? She's a depowered Miss Marvel with a hybrid Kree-Terran physiology and enhanced stamina and reflexes, at a Captain America level, maybe. And Rogue absorbed Carol's powers and her memory. Earlier, Professor Xavier goes into a coma after discovering an alien presence in his brain. More on that later. And we are still not at the Brood saga. Issue 159, Storm gets attacked by Dracula. Yes, Count Dracula. Issue 160, Colossus' sister, Yana, goes to another dimension for 7 years and becomes a magician. Issue 161, while comatose, Xavier visits Memory Lane to his first encounter with Magneto and sets up a gateway with his son, David Haller, also known as Legion. Then, the X-Men are captured by Deathbird and the Brood. Finally. In Uncanny X-Men 162, we focus on Logan and realize that all of the X-Men, including Professor Xavier, have Brood eggs implanted inside them. Logan's mutant healing factor and adamantium skeleton is able to destroy the brood embryo, but Logan is concerned that he will have to kill the rest of the X-Men to prevent them from becoming brood queens. In issue 163, Logan effectively rescues the X-Men, Lilandra and Carol, but not after some serious experimentation on Carol by the brood. This is important for later. Issue 164, Carol develops those Captain Marvel powers she is known for in the movies, but in the comics she is called Binary. The brood attack, but hold back because they know the X-Men are hosting queen embryos. The brood damage the X-Men's ship, but Kitty is able to repair it. Storm realizes she has been infected, freaks out, and leaves via shuttle. Logan reveals to everyone that they are all hosts to a brood queen, and he had seriously considered offing all of them. Which brings us back to issue 165, the first Paul Smith issue, the issue where Storm defeats her brood embryo and merges with the Akanti, which to me felt like an homage to both slavery and the decimation of the indigenous population of the Americas. Also, the development of the New Mutants is hinted. In the double-sized issue 166, the X-Men face the final battle with the Brood, and it is epic. Good issue. You should read it. Wow, and all this leads to issue 167, the transformation of Charles Xavier into a Brood Queen. The X-Men are able to defeat him and clone him a new body and transfer his mind. Of course, watching Professor Xavier transform into a giant creature that looked like a cross between the alien from Alien and an insect gave me nightmares, but I was hooked. If Chris Claremont was writing it, I was reading it. I read the New Mutants graphic novel, the X-Men graphic novel God Loves Man Kills, the New Mutants comic. Mark McCloud was fine, and I tolerated Sal Buscema and was relieved when Bill Sienkiewicz took up the pencils and started gathering all the back issues of the Uncanny X-Men I had missed. I wanted to go back to the beginning, but could only afford the non-colorized trade paperback at the time. I started out thinking about the excellent scene I wanted to focus on, looking at all the movies and thinking about all the comics, and at first I thought my excellent scene was going to be Charles Xavier's transformation into the Brood Queen. But upon reflection, upon reading my own script, it becomes clear to me that I'm more influenced by Uncanny X-Men 165, where Storm has her transformation, than I am with Xavier's transformation. Even though the issue 167 gets a very, very high approval rating, I think that 165 is the story that I resonate with the most. Reading these comics when I was growing up made mine Marvel a little more than DC. I mean, I could go for some Dark Horse. It is the George Harrison fan in me. It helped me get through the Wonder Years. The 1980s brought us the best artists in comics. John Byrne, Paul Smith, John Romita, Jr. and Sr., Walt Simonson, Bob McLeod, George Perez. They all helped to visualize all those great concepts Marv Wolfman or John Byrne or Chris Claremont could portray in the comic books. And, well, that's my excellent scene. Storm transforming into a Brood Queen. Communing with the alien fishes. Or whales? Anyway. Thank you for watching. I appreciate Nando for making this opportunity for us creative folks, and I hope to get into the mix and continue to make these videos so that people can learn more about my theory, the Yellow Flick Road, how all movies are based on The Wizard of Oz. You can't deny it, you just can't.
You want to change your diet? Is your life a little quiet? If you need something new, try it. Take a bite. Take a bite. You want some attention? At least an honorable mention? You gotta let them know your intention. Take the five, take the five. Yeah. Take the five, take the five.